The last flight of Vulcan 558 took place on the 28th of October 2015, some 2 weeks after the previous flight. The day dawned to heavy rain and low cloud, with no prospect of an improvement throughout the day. Nonetheless, we arrived at the airport and did our usual pre-flight planning as the rain continued, and at one point it looked so bad as if we were only going to be able to taxi the aeroplane around the airfield, which would have been a very bad finale. However, by the miracle of the internet, I was able to follow the progress of the weather frontal system using weather radar, and it was moving very quickly, and it became apparent that potentially by early afternoon we might just be able to fly. Conducted some of the pre-flight checks before the aircraft was pushed outside, and I got a chance to see whether or not the weather had in fact improved as I had hoped. It was slowly improving, but still not perfect, as we were pushed back to our stand and we started the 4 engines and taxi. At around about 2:30 we took off. I did the takeoff, unusually holding the aircraft low along the runway to accelerate and pulling up into a steep wing over, before I handed control to my co-captain, Martin Withers, who conducted a fly past in front of the press and before he gave control to me for a final touch and go landing in the Vulcan for me, and then Martin finally landed the aircraft, streaming the massive brake parachute for the very last time around about 3 o'clock that afternoon. The other guys climbed out of the aeroplane and went off to meet the press and their families, and I just sat there for a moment, savouring for a last time the sight and the smell of the inside of the old girl. And I have to admit, unusually for me, I tapped her on the dashboard and said, "Thanks, old girl," in a little tribute to the fact she'd kept us all safe, and me in particular safe, the last 66 times that I'd flown her. Climbing out of the aircraft, we were met, of course, by the press, a couple of interviews, and for the first time it all began to sink in that this really was the end of it all. Myself and the crew went across to the local hotel, had a quick glass of beer and discussed our memories of the aircraft, and then for that very last time we all went our separate ways.